Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Met Report. It is Friday, March 28th. I'm Laryss Rodriguez.
And I'm Ytzel Vasquez. Thank you so much for joining us today. We have a lot to get into this week, so let's get started.
If you're a graduate student looking to sign up for courses, it's about that time to log in and register for fall classes. The first registration group opens for fall courses next week. The groups are divided by number of credit hours completed, and it should be noted only completed courses count. If you are currently enrolled in classes, those credits do not count. Fall 2025 priority registrations are open for graduate students with 41 to 50 earned credit hours on Wednesday, April 2nd, 2025 at 12 p.m. So make sure to enroll early to avoid wait lists.
President Janine Davidson announced the university's focus on finding a permanent provost after years of turnaround in the role. We currently have a provost, albeit interim, who has provided continuous leadership over the years. President Davidson is launching a transparent, more internal effort to help fill the role permanently. The search will be led internally by a committee including representatives from academic affairs, faculty senate, staff senate, and students. Rather than a confidential list of finalists like in previous searches, they will publicly announce finalists and host open forums. But what is a provost? A provost is a, quote, chief academic officer of the university, helping prioritize having diverse and high-quality staff as well as advocate for a variety of academic priorities. All of MSU's colleges, schools, and multiple departments report to the provost office.
At the beginning of the month, on March 6th, President Janine Davidson hosted the first Spring President's Fireside Chat with a very special guest, the youngest first Latina woman serving on the Colorado Supreme Court, Monica M. Marquez. Our reporter Diana Corral had the opportunity to talk more with Justice Marquez after her fireside chat. Here are some important highlights of the conversation with her.
Access to justice issues could be solved by more resources, right? Making sure that we have more free legal advice available to people who need it. Unfortunately, that's sort of outside our sphere of influence as the court. We don't have resources to dole out. We try to work in partnership with legal aid and other community partners that provide those legal services and support each other so that we will support their requests for resources. We can start there. We try to take advantage of things that we can do to make life easier for all constituents who have to come before the courts. ICE is not allowed to come do civil arrests in courtrooms in Colorado, and so far that seems to be being observed. We're not seeing ICE coming into our courtrooms. I'm grateful for that. We'll see how that piece evolves. So I have, as a Chief Justice, I have concerns about those secondary implications for the cases that are in our court. They're not the immigration cases, but because of this other, environment that's happening, it's impacting some of the work that we do. Courtrooms have been very safe, and the law protects that, and our judges are doing a very good job of making sure that those protections are adhered to. And I see students who come to my courtroom for tours or talks or whatever, and get very excited to see me in this role, and I know that feeling because I felt it myself. So sometimes it's just about presence, and I realize too that I take on that responsibility. It is part of my role to be out and about in the community, making sure that I am connecting with young women and letting them know that they can do this.
If you would like to listen to the full interview with Justice Marquez, we invite you to visit our page at mymetmedia.com.
If you've been in the Tivoli for the past week, it's hard to miss the array of t-shirts hanging in the main plaza. But the message behind them is a poignant reminder of violence in our society. Started in 1990, the Clothesline Project is a visual art exhibition that aims to give a voice to victims of sexual violence through decorated t-shirts. The project serves as an educational tool for those who view the display to help people understand that sexual violence is a prevalent issue and that survivors will not be silenced. Each colored t-shirt carries a different meaning, representing different forms of sexual violence and discrimination, which people can then decorate with messages about their experiences. In honor of Sexual Assault Awareness Month, the Tivoli Tavern is hosting an event on Tuesday, April 1st from 10 a.m. through 2 p.m., where you can go support the victims by attending love letters to survivors, where you can write a letter to support and encourage survivors on the area campus. The letters will be placed around the campus throughout the month of April for survivors to find and keep. If you or someone you know is dealing with issues of interpersonal violence, a 24/7 helpline is available at 303-556-2255.
Hundreds of Latinos and supporters marched to the capital of Colorado and started to advocate a march named Latino Advocacy Day. On Monday, the 17th, from 16th Street to the Capitol, many residents from Colorado were voicing concerns about the immigration policies and the DEI programs under the Trump administration. This kickstarted the Latino Advocacy Day March. Latino Advocacy Day has been a rallying cry for justice and united communities from Colorado to demand a change for the Latino community. The rally has been a Colorado tradition for 19 years. In addition, the organization United Voices has been advocating and supporting 5 specific bills that support multilingual emergencies, protecting workers from extreme temperatures, ensuring no accessible rent prices, abortion for all, and ensuring emergency care access. Dolores Huerta, an iconic advocate who started civil rights work in the 50s, was the guest honor for the march. She used the words, "Yes, we can," to encourage the people to send messages to proclaim Latino rights, and as part of the Hispanic community, that they should plead for more support for the rights of immigrants.
The Mercury Cafe, located on the corner of California and 22nd Street in the heart of Denver, has been a staple in the community since it opened more than 50 years ago. Known as a Merc by many of its frequent patrons who sought out a good meal or drinks and stayed for its diverse entertainment, the Merc hosted a variety of events from jazz and open mic nights to swing dancing and even concerts.
The Mercury Cafe was considered one of the more popular alternatives to the more common sports bar or chain restaurant in the area, establishing a strong clientele dedicated to the community surrounding the bar.
Community was my purpose. I realized that a restaurant's a really good place to do it, because if you have food, people gather and they do the things that humans do for a million years. You know, after dinner we tell stories and we sing and dance together, you know?
As most businesses during the COVID years, the Merc struggled to keep its doors open, and in 2021, its founder, Marilyn Magenti, sold it to another local bar owner, Danny Newman, who planned to preserve the unique vision of the initial owner. However, the Mercury Cafe continued to struggle with significant financial issues that ensued cost-cutting measures, ending in a labor dispute with its union in 2023. The dispute prompted the owner to put up the establishment for sale in August of 2024, and within the last month, new advances were made to transfer ownership to Dom Garcia and Ashley Cassidy, co-owners of the Pearl, an extension of the Capitol Hill Sapphic Pearl Divers Speakeasy. In a statement, the new owner said they wanted to, quote, give fresh life to this space, honoring its rich history as a treasured gathering spot for Denver's LGBTQIA+ community and beyond. The Mercury Cafe will continue its operations until the new Pearl location officially opens on March 29th, with the new owners offering continued employment of current workers if they wish to stay, while the rest say goodbye to the end of an era. For the Met Report, I'm Cecilia Perez Nájera.
Drug abuse, alcoholism, and homelessness are a big concern for Denver. I paid a visit to an organization that helps those going through these difficulties. The Other Side Academy is an organization dedicated to serving those who are experiencing drug problems, alcoholism, and homelessness. I'm outside of the furniture boutique today to get a better insight on this organization.
I've always struggled with addiction and incarceration. I've been in and out of facilities my entire life. I've never been able to like keep longer than 6 months out in the real world.
Crystal decided it was time to turn her life around and did so by joining the Other Side Academy, which helped her get her life together. They housed Crystal, gave support, and provided Crystal with a job at one of their 2 companies, the Other Side Furniture Boutique.
This is an enterprise that helps fund the Other Side Academy. Our other enterprise is the moving company. So a lot of the furniture that we acquire are from previous moves that we've done that customers are willing to donate and separate from. The way that we go about our process in store when we receive it, we'll make sure that it's one functioning, 2 clean, and able to sell. And then we'll do some research on it. We'll do some research going back to the make, the model, where it came from, the condition that it's in, and then we'll price it accordingly. So usually we do 1/3 of the price, and then depending on the quality, we'll dictate what the end price is.
All of the workers are students at the Other Side Academy and show up each and every day, cleaning the building, cleaning donated furniture, moving the furniture in and out of houses, and most importantly, working towards creating a better life for themselves.
But I will say that the Other Side Academy is nothing that I've ever experienced before. It has helped me grow in ways that I didn't think were possible.
Both enterprises help fund the academy, which pays for the students' food, clothing, room and board, and any other essentials they need to live. The organization is a nonprofit, with their main goal being to help those who need it.
It's not just a business to build money and to make a name for a company to be widespread. It's about individuals who have hit rock bottom that want to be a better person.
It may look like a normal business on the outside, but on the inside, it's a place where lives are changed for the better. With the Met Report, I'm Laryss Rodriguez.
A painting of Donald Trump is being removed from the Colorado State Capitol walls after he claimed it was, quote, purposefully distorted. Late Sunday night, March 23rd, Trump took Truth Social to share his discontent with Governor Polis for hanging a portrait of him in the Colorado State Capitol, saying, quote, nobody likes a bad picture or painting of themselves, but the one in Colorado, in the state capitol, put up by the governor along with all the other presidents, was purposefully distorted to a level that even I perhaps have never seen before. Adding, I would much prefer not having a picture than having this one, but many people from Colorado have called and written to complain. It should be noted the Colorado Building Advisory Committee controls the portraits, not the governor. As President Trump said, the portrait was commissioned by Colorado Republicans who raised more than $10,000 via GoFundMe. It was officially unveiled in 2019. The artist told the Colorado Times Recorder in the painting was non-confrontational and was done with thoughtful intentions. Nonetheless, in the president's comments caused a slew of visitors to visit the Capitol to see the portrait. It was later announced by House Democrats that the painting would be taken down at the request of the Republican legislators.
Hey y'all, I'm Ben Pearse here with my finger on the pulse of politics, bringing you all the updates. Let's jump right in. Yesterday, I went down to the local Department of Education. Let's take a look. Currently, I'm standing in front of the Department of Education building here in Colorado. Recently, the department has been rife with controversy and uncertainty following President Trump's actions towards his goal of dissolving the department. Local groups across the country have been sparked into action. Group Colorado Educators Association here in Colorado led a march on March 20th on the Capitol. I had the opportunity to speak to multiple organizers and parents about what they were marching for and where they wanted to see the department going forward.
We teach everybody's kids, right, left, center. We teach all of them in our public schools, and we care about them, and we want them to thrive.
Last Thursday, nearly 80% of schools across the state were closed. Teachers, parents, and students all were in attendance at the Capitol for the march.
So from a parent's perspective, I think it's important that we fund education because not all students learn the same way. I have a child who's on an IEP and he has come so far with that support.
At least 2,000 people showed their support for public education, waving signs calling for no more cuts. I asked Eric Koffold and Wendy Bergman their reasons for marching and thoughts on education cuts. Both are year-round organizers with the Colorado Education Association, as well as members of their local educators groups.
Kevin Vick said it, only 3% of our state budget goes to funding schools. The reason we have a 22.9% turnover rate, which is 7 percentage points higher than national average, is because of that. Teachers are walking into classrooms not having the resources, the support they need.
As of right now, the future of the Department of Education is still uncertain, although President Trump has still continued his work towards dismantling the department.
A lot of the federal funding from the Department of Education goes to our most in-need schools and our most under-resourced schools. And so by taking those things away, we are disproportionately impacting the students who need the most support and the families who need the most support. And we have to educate all people. We can't just educate the people who fit in our box. And through special education, we are able to really hone in on what they need to learn differently and how they can learn differently. And we are going to ask our communities to come together to protect education. Now more than ever, it is incredibly vital. Speaking to Governor Polis, I would ask him not to cut or defund education because we have such a strong education system as it is right now. We've been operating under budget for many years. And so to defund, there are several districts in this state that won't survive.
Immigrant activist Jeanette Vazquez was detained by ICE last Monday in a parking lot of the Target where she is employed in Aurora, Colorado. For almost 30 years, Jeanette has been an activist for immigrants. She has been to protests regularly and has been regarded as a pillar in the community by Senator Michael Bennet. After her detention, family did not know her location, but on Tuesday morning, they were informed by ICE that she's at an ICE facility in Aurora. Vazquez migrated from Mexico to the United States in 1997 and has been fighting her deportation since 2009. She was pulled over for a traffic violation and provided false information on the ticket. When Donald Trump first took office in 2017, Vazquez took sanctuary at the First Unitarian Society of Denver Church, where federal agents could not access without a warrant. ICE confirmed on Wednesday that she will be deported from the United States, but it is unclear when that will be. On March 13th, MSU was proud to welcome Washington Post columnist and author David Ignatius to campus for a conversation with President Davidson. Ignatius began his career with the Wall Street Journal in the late 1970s before moving to the Washington Post in 1986, where he has remained for the last 39 years. In his time at the Post, he has primarily covered foreign affairs and intelligence agencies, reporting on several conflicts through Iraq, Syria, and also Lebanon, while also authoring several spy and thriller novels. Controversy continues to surround the Post since the 2024 election, mainly concerning the paper's direction with Jeff Bezos as owner. Our reporter Alex Petrich asked Ignatius about the direction of journalism in the 2020s.
That is a problem, and as you're trying to make your career to the extent possible, try to avoid working for those organizations or doing things that in your gut are wrong. I think the thing that just is soul destroying for a journalist or for anybody is to do something you don't believe in. And I do see that. I see people just so anxious about holding on to their jobs. They're scared. And so they end up writing and saying things that they probably know aren't actually true. But I think it comes down to people's individual motivations and values. You have to say to yourself, if I'm going to be a journalist, I'm in the business of telling the truth. If anybody ever tries to get me to violate that, I'm out. I'm not going to do it. So we want a place where we can write the truth. If you're an opinion columnist, obviously opinions differ, but we want a newspaper that holds on to the values that the Graham family established, that Jeff Bezos acquired. happily and proudly, which it's about holding people who are powerful accountable. That's what we do. Yeah, I haven't seen any diminution of the Post's commitment to doing that. Jeff decided he didn't want to endorse a presidential candidate. I helped write and then sign, and we published a letter from prominent columnists disagreeing with that. I feel as if the Post is a place that I can do work that I'm proud of. And again, if that ever changes, if I ever feel anybody's leaning on me to prevent me from saying what I want, or get me to say something that I don't believe, haven't reported, I wouldn't do that. But I have no reason to think that's going to happen.
Last Friday, Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders and New York Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez visited Denver, and their Fighting Oligarchy tour in the largest political rally the state has seen since 2008. Alex Petrich has the story.
It's a rare occasion to see Civic Center packed unless you're at a concert or one of our teams wins the championship. But if anyone could draw Coloradans out en masse, it's Bernie Sanders, seeing as the senator won the Colorado Democratic primary in both 2016 and 2020. Sanders and fellow progressive Democrat Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez have been traveling across the country in the past few months, aiming to reconnect with voters in the wake of Donald Trump's presidential victory in November. The name Fighting Oligarchy stems from Trump's relationships with some of the wealthiest people in the country, with Elon Musk heading a new government department, as well as Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, and Tim Cook attending the inauguration in January. 34,000 people filled Civic Center Park to hear the two speak, hours after a stop in Greeley saw 10,000 people fill UNC's Bank of Colorado arena. Sanders described the rally as his largest, and the popularity of this tour continues to grow. Even with the U.S. Congress in session, Sanders and Ocasio-Cortez will be speaking in Los Angeles on April 12th, and while Sanders has no interest in running for president again, whispers of AOC taking to the campaign trail will surely grow over the next 3 years. For the Met Report, I'm Alex Petrich.
Well, folks, that's all I have for you for this time with politics. As always, I've been Ben Pearse, and don't go anywhere. Next up, we have Riley Rome with sports.
What's up, guys? I'm Riley Rome, and I'm here with all your sports needs. We're going to be talking about anything from baseball to hockey. But first, let's lay up into March Madness. March Madness Sweet 16 is underway, but last week, the Met Report has access to watch the first two games of the first round of the bracket play. Our reporter, Luke Maestas, has all the details. Let's take a look.
We're here at Ball Arena, which is usually home to the Denver Nuggets, but last week it was home to the first and second rounds of March Madness. I got a chance to speak to a couple of players as they continue on throughout the bracket. Let's hit the court.
College basketball fans from all over the nation travel to various locations to see their teams compete with 63 other schools to be crowned national champs. The teams we saw were the Wisconsin Badgers, the Montana Grizzlies, the VCU Rams, and the BYU Cougars. First game of the day was the matchup between the 14-seed Montana Grizzlies and the 3-seed Wisconsin Badgers. The Badgers were heavily favored in this game and did not disappoint for the fans that traveled all the way from America's Dairyland. The Badgers secured a resounding 66-85 victory over the Grizzlies, and Montana's players had nothing but positive things to say about the Badgers and their fans who made the trip to the Centennial State and stuck with them throughout the year.
I think just how hard we fight. This team been through a lot of adversity. One of the most that I've been a part, not only just myself, but like down the line, all 16 had some type of adversity. So it's just us showing, we can fight through battles. We had a lot of close games, showing we had heart, so I think that's a team to be remembered, just by our fight.
The next game was the 6-seed BYU Cougars versus the 11th-seed VCU Rams. The Rams were the underdog in the match, keeping the score within 9 points going into the second half, with a strong 7-point game from Zeb Jackson and Luke Bamboy with 6. But it wasn't enough, as Foussine Traore and the Cougars put up 41 points in the second to seal the deal. After a wild week in the first and second rounds, one thing remains true. Nobody's bracket is perfect. For the Met Report, I'm Luke Maestas reporting from Ball Arena.
The MSU Denver Roadrunner hockey season has come to an end with an impressive run. Our reporter Brandi Rose has a recap of the 2024 to 2025 season.
With the 2024-25 season officially over, MSU Denver hockey celebrated a regular season title, conference championship, a strong regionals run, and of course a nationals appearance. The team's hard work and commitment on and off the ice paid off with impressive results on both the conference and national levels. I'm at the place where it all started, the Ice Center at the Carbonell. So let's head on in and recap the Roadrunners' historic season.
After finishing this season 11-1 in the Big Mountain Hockey Conference, the Roadrunners clinched the title of regular season champs. And after taking down last year's champs Colorado State 7-0 and defeating second-place Denver 5-1, Metro brought home the title of conference champs, securing both titles for the first time since 2019. With forward Jackson Tillinghast earning Player of the Year and earning all-conference honors alongside line mate Tanner Caldarola, defensemen Soren Redison and Sam Miller, and goaltender Dylan Romano. Their overall record of 18-11 combined with their dominant conference performance earned them a spot in the 2025 Regionals Tournament, where they defeated Washington 4-3 in overtime and advanced to play Grand Canyon University, and punched their ticket to Nationals with a 7-2 victory over the Lopes. At Nationals, MSU Denver faced tough opponents, including Connecticut College, Florida Gulf Coast, and Maryville, and were eliminated following pool play. Despite their loss, their impressive season earned them recognition as a competitive team in the ACHA Division II, and proved they're a team to watch in their upcoming seasons.
So be sure to stay tuned to find out ways that you can support your MSU Denver club hockey team and how you can catch a game next semester. We'll see you next season. Let's go Birds.
Yesterday was opening day for Major League Baseball, but there is plenty to look forward to when it comes to club baseball. The past season, they made it to the World Series and are looking to repeat their success heading into the new season. Our reporter Luke Maestas has more information on the team as they continue to hit bombs throughout the season.
Well, the snow's cleared up here at the Assembly Athletic Complex, which means it is time to play some ball. This will be an exciting season for club baseball as the team upped their competition this past offseason. Let's go see what the team has to say.
The essential sounds of spring always include the pop of a mitt and the crack of a bat, and those can be heard cheering on the Roadrunners, heading into the season with high hopes, coming off of a World Series appearance, even moving from Division II play to Division I this past offseason. The Roadrunners currently sit at 1-2, coming off of a series against CU, with their games against Colorado School of Mines being postponed due to high winds in Golden. But they are still looking to even out their record with a trip to Las Vegas, playing UC Santa Barbara yesterday, and today playing the Wisconsin Badgers and the Boise State Broncos. Tomorrow, the Birds will finish their tournament in the Sin City with a match against the UCLA Bruins. With new competition on the horizon in the D1 Mid-American West Conference and an optimistic series to be played in the Sin City, the Roadrunners look to go back to the Promised Land.
Oh man, I think we're really excited to go to Vegas. I think we have a great group of guys. We've been out here practicing in the cold for a couple months, and I think we're really prepared for what we have in stake for Vegas. We have a great group of guys, and I think we're going to be prepared.
Definitely high expectations, high standards. We made it to regionals last year in Division II. Got knocked out, semifinals. So definitely have to go further this time. D1, not a problem. We can beat any team.
For more information on the Birds' schedule, visit their Instagram at MSU Denver Club BB. For the Met Report, I'm Luke Maestas reporting from the Assembly Athletic Complex.
And speaking of baseball, yesterday was opening day in MLB, and later this afternoon, we'll see the Colorado Rockies take the field for the first time this season against the Tampa Bay Rays.
Update from later in the afternoon, the Rockies lost 3-2 to the Tampa Bay Rays.
And Rockies fans, I hate to be the one to tell you this, but looking into this season, it's looking to be more of the same. The 2025 season predicted to extend the Rockies' postseason drought to 7 straight years, as the team is only projected to win 58 games. After saying goodbye to fan favorite Charlie Blackmon last year, the Rockies will be betting on Chris Bryant to stay healthy and produce at a high level. The 2016 NL MVP stint in the Mile High has been plagued with injury, and with 4 years left on the $182 million deal, hope is all we have. Outside Bryant, pitching has been a major issue and concern for the Rockies, with the rookie bullpen showing flashes in spring training but ultimately remaining unproven. And perhaps the biggest obstacle in the Rockies' way, everybody else in the NL West. With the Dodgers, Diamondbacks, Giants, and Padres all strengthening their teams in the offseason, the Rockies are looking like the odd man out once again. Now, we'll have to wait and see for the Rockies at Coors Field until Friday, April 4th, when they take on the Athletics. And it's a good thing, too. If there's anything we can be happy about, Rocky fans, at least we're not the A's. That's all we got this week for sports. For Met TV, I'm Riley Rome. Back to you at the desk.
That's all we have for this month. I hope you all had a great spring break.
Thank you all so much for watching this Met Report. Be sure to follow all of our socials linked in the description to stay up to date on all the news and Met TV content.
Also, don't forget to check out our website to see all the great content coming out from the Metropolitan, the Metrosphere, and Met Radio. I'm Laryss Rodriguez.
And I'm Ytzel Vasquez. Have a great day, everyone.